Hello and welcome to Montecito After Sunset. I'm Christy and I want to welcome you into a world of deception. You are probably here because you love podcasts or audiobooks or soap operas. We are about to talk about a brand new audio soap opera called Montecito. And we are going behind the scenes with executive story editor Andrew Pemberton Fowler and creator and executive producer of Montecito, Grant Rudder. Hey guys.
Hey,
Hi.
Christy. Hello.
Well, I want to let everybody know that we are going to be breaking down episode 2 of Montecito. And so if you haven't gone back and listened to episode 1 and 2, make sure that you are do that because you are about to get spoiled. You're about to get all the dish on what went into making episode 2 happen. And I mean, we're just thrust right into the action from moment 1. This is a direct pickup from episode 1. And Helena throws Mina out. I want to know the dynamic between Helena and Mina is just so well developed. What kind of conversations did you guys have about what the relationship would be between these two women and about who they are and how that would affect their relationships?
I remember talking to Andrew about this and saying Mina's been in Helena's life for over a decade, at least 13 years, because don't forget, Mina trapped taken with the baby 13 years ago. Basically, these are people who don't have holidays together. They can't really, the family has basically fallen apart. There are glimpses of that throughout the season, but no one's close. And they're at this public event and their masks are slipping. They're putting on a very public face for everyone. This is a big night. Mina calls it her big night, but we see that it's really a big night for the family. Helena is incredibly proud of her son and what this means for the family legacy. And not even for one night can they get along.
Helena knows exactly who Mina is, and that's kind of what we see right away between them. And I think that's why the relationship is so interesting, because Helena never once mistakes Mina for who she knows her to be and has known her to be for over a decade.
And I think that I'm getting to know Mina pretty well. Can I just tell you guys how I picture her and see if that's how you intended? I just see Mina as this beautiful, very beautiful Latina woman. She's maybe short, but she has a huge presence. And is that how you intended for the audience to see her? Or what does she look like in your head, Andrew?
She's had a few iterations
True.
from the original breakdown that I read of Mina versus the actress we ended up casting, Chelsea Rendon, who is fantastic as Mina. And she completely flipped our own perception of Mina on our heads, and I think gave her so much more depth and gravitas that was on the page, but it just comes out in a completely different way. But I will say, when you do write character, and Grant and I wrote these scripts many months ago, so sometimes you have one vision of a character in your head, and when you go back to write again, that vision stays in your head because that was the voice that you were writing towards. So that when an actor gets it, it adds another dimension. But I will throw the rest of that to Grant. And
Yeah, Mina originally was European princess kind of vibe. She's definitely in that version of Mina was coming from money. Her father was a doctor. So she wasn't quite on Montecito level. So she was always still trying to maintain, but it was more about her being this narcissist. But the more we got into the character, while this is not a rags to riches story for her at all, it's someone that audibly sounds different from the rest of the cast. It's a more forward personality than other characters on the show, more forceful. There's definitely a lot more goal-driven mindset and personality to maintain and to keep and to be taken seriously, and they're going to stand up and notice. Chelsea really put that power behind Mina, and it really just took off. That casting that character was so key to the show because she has so many different dynamics with so many people, and she's not supposed to be someone that we root for or against. It's up for interpretation. So to ride that line was super important with who was voicing that character. And again, I'll echo what Andrew said. Chelsea really knocked it out of the park.
And somehow I am just as invested in Deacon and Gio's relationship to each other and their scenes as well as Helena and Mina's, even though they are completely different. Obviously, there's a lot going on between Helena and Mina. It's very tense. And Deacon and Gio you go back and forth between the scenes and it's just a whole different feel. All of a sudden, I'm in the room with them alone and it's quiet and it's an emotional roller coaster. I don't know how you guys did it.
I'm glad you picked up on that because Gio is the opposite of Mina. Deacon and Mina are not a match for a lot of reasons, but Gio is this quiet, we learn that he's into holistic medicine and does online courses and all this stuff within the kind of health wellness space. And then we've got Mina, you don't really view her as this kind of like meditative beach yoga girl. So it's very much the opposite. And there was a lot of care put into those scenes that you're mentioning with very delicate music. This is a very delicate relationship. Deacon's busying himself with, does Gio need a blanket or should I light a fire? It's almost like fidgety, but we're not seeing it, we're hearing it. And
feel his nerves.
Yeah. And Peter did a great job in portraying them. And there's obviously a desperation and a longing from both of them, but especially from Deacon to connect, to actually be himself for 2 seconds.
Yeah. There are also some other folks mentioned who actually exist in the series. We hear a name mention of Oprah, Harry and Meghan get name dropped. And just full disclosure to everyone listening, I've been with Grant a little bit on this journey. We are great friends. He's one of my favorite people in the whole world. And I'm sure Andrew would be too if I got to know him a little bit better. But I begged Grant to have a couple lines in this because I knew it was going to be fantastic. And my lines were the ones about Des Oprah, wives, or Harry and Meghan here. But Andrew, I hear that you wanted those lines to end up on the cutting room floor.
I didn't want to distract, but again, this is a real place where real people live. We are co-opting it, of course, for dramatic purposes. So it does make sense at the end of the day. But those lines weren't in the original script. So when I heard, I think it was the second or third cut of the episode, and I heard your voice, I was like, Grant, I love this because it just adds that richness to audio drama that you sometimes don't get. Sometimes it's just two people talking. You may hear a little atmosphere in the background, but that's it. So when I heard your voice, I was like, oh my God, this world is real now. It's not Pine Valley, it's Montecito. It's very different, very different.
Yeah, I really wanted something pop culture related. And if you ask the average person, what do they know about Montecito? It's Harry and Meghan and it's Oprah. So that was a way to connect with the audience on kind of a wink and a nod. There were some street names that I remember from being there and checking it out a couple times and spending the day. And I was like, okay, this is the Golden Quadrangle, Picacho. Yeah, they're there. And that's where all the big homes are.
Well, and it just helps, like you say, make it so real that I feel like next time we go to Montecito, I'm going to expect to run into Mina. And then I'll probably run the other way because she is so intense. We actually hear her get into full-on attack mode in episode 2 here. One thing I was shocked to hear with her call herself suddenly out of nowhere, Mrs. Deacon Granville. I was like, oh, now you're Mrs. Deacon Granville. But she gets cut off real quick. In her moment of fury, there's a taser situation that doesn't go well for Mina. And it plays out so obviously. I can just picture it in my head as it goes down as I'm listening. But there's a whole lot of ways you guys could have gone with that. How did you end up with the taser?
It was always a taser. I think we did mention a gun, but the gun was too much. So we went back to a taser, but then in post, it was like, how do we get the sound of a taser? How do we make it effective? So there was a lot of back and forth because you need her, you need Mina, but you also have to introduce Bethany Gina. You need something dramatic to happen. The taser was all Grant, but yeah, getting it realized was the hardest part of all.
Yeah, making sure that it translated from mind to a draft, to an outline, to a breakdown, to a script, and then the actors do what they do, and then it goes to post, and it's like, I hope that all these little dashes are going to make a line. And thank God it did. Bethany Gina's looming over this episode. She's mentioned in the first scene with Helena and Mina. There's this loud noise over Deacon and Gio. And then if you listen closely, yes, when Mina's outside banging on that glass window and trying to get back into the Roman mansion, there's the noise of the helicopter. And so then she arrives. And it was important to give Bethany Gina a big entrance. And that moment kicks off the whole feud between these two leading characters.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to meet her just because everyone was talking about her.
Yeah, Bethany
Well, and-
Gina is the force for sure.
Right, and that's kind of soap opera 101. You need to withhold some characters and have people talk about them, and then you finally meet them just because you need the build.
Yeah, there's
Well, we
something
haven't
about
talked too
that
much-
old school soap entrance, like the figure in the dark, and it's JJ is like, Bethany Gina? Like he would never expect it. Like you just can imagine. I'm hoping the listener will imagine someone, maybe M. Ryland, maybe who they think Bethany Gina resembles and looks like stepping into kind of the light, and then there she is.
Yes, it was an absolute pleasure to meet her and for us to hear Mina finally getting what was coming to her on that fateful evening. I
Oh,
cannot
trust me,
wait
yes.
to hear episode 3. Guys, give me a little tease.
Episode 3, the day after.
Yeah, that was fun to write. I really don't want to give too much
gosh.
away.
It's
I
that
did not
good.
write-
I'll
Well,
say
okay.
that
Yeah.
Bethany Gina and Mina cross paths again, and Mina has some choice words, and Bethany
I
Gina
can
is
imagine.
she's there and she's trying.
Oh, it is so much fun to get to know these characters a little better from the people who created them. And if you out there watching have any questions for Grant and Andrew, please post them right down here below if you're watching on YouTube, or make sure that you are following the Montecito Facebook page as well. You can throw us your questions there and we will cover them next time on Montecito After Sunset. Thank you all
Thank you.
so much for joining us. Get ready for episode 3 because it's going down, and we will see you for all the behind the scenes scoop right here. See you soon.